Hello, everyone, and my name is Misty Gaither, and this is Quest, a journey into true crime and the paranormal. I am so excited to have with me tonight my guest, Tim Shaw, psychic medium. And let me tell you, if I start reading off everything that Tim Shaw is, we'll be here an additional hour or two. So, Tim, how you doing?
Misty, it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh yeah, I've been a big fan, and so I was really glad that you accepted my invitation and that we finally could sync our schedules.
This year has been insane. I don't know what it is. I cut way back on like a lot of my events because I've been working a lot of boots on the ground stuff. It hasn't stopped. It's just it keeps rolling. And I keep thinking to myself, next month will be easier. And it doesn't. It just keeps more and more. Now we're into October, which means that I am really busy. So I can't wait for November to come around so I can take a break.
Well, you probably think you're going to take a break, but it. Yeah, we know.
It's not going to happen. It's
Right.
not going to happen. I already have plans for developing a new talk about horrific Christmas and all the
Oh.
craziness and legends that go along with that. So that'll be my November, getting ready for December.
So let me read off this list that of things that I don't know titles or on a resume, or I don't know if you're looking for another job to go on here, but let's see. Tim Shaw, Tim Shaw, ordained minister, radio host, spiritual healer, urban explorer, leather worker, history reenactor, Reiki master, psychic medium, author of Haunted Rochester, magic and animal spells, and host of Black Cat Lounge. Say that three
That's
times
right.
in a row. But
Hmm.
you were saying in 2017 that you retired, and I have a quote that you said, "There is no such thing as retirement, just another day to have an adventure." And it sounds like your schedule is chocked full of adventures.
I attend a once a month. I attend a spiritual circle, and we talk a lot about different things about spirituality and how to live a spiritual life in this world and all that. And the subject came up about slowing down. I fired my primary doctor, and the reason for that was now I'm 67, and the reason I fired her is because she was like really coming down on me to slow down. And she
Mm.
goes, you work 34 and a half years pushing asphalt and doing concrete and working all these other side jobs on top of all the paranormal and the writing and all the speaking and all that. She goes, don't you think it's time to slow down? And I looked at her. I said, I thought that it's time for me to keep moving. I don't want to go and ever slow down, because if you slow down, that just means that there's something wrong mentally with yourself. You're unhappy, or you have to keep moving constantly. And as someone who has survived a lot of surgeries and some illnesses and stuff, I can't see that ever happening. And I just love everything. I like adventure. I love being able to get out there. And you know, my latest thing, Misty, are you ready for this? My latest thing
I'm
is
ready.
I'm really into photography. I picked up my cameras.
Oh.
I've got like 6 cameras I've had since I've been a kid. And I finally stopped, took a breath, and now I'm into Gothic photography. I love black and whites. I love the whole creepiness of it. I love the beauty of it. So that's what I'm doing now. And I actually have a show that's going on at Art 247 in Lockport, New York.
Oh
So
wow.
keeping busy, just keeping busy.
You have to, like you said, once you just kind of let things go, or, and then your
Hmm.
body starts getting adjusted to it, and oh, well, I'll do that event 2 months from now,
No, no, that doesn't work like that. Misty, I go to the gym 2 hours a day,
wow.
between 4 to 6 days a week, and that's how I start my day off. And then I sit down and I'm either writing, or I'm editing photographs, or I'm editing videos, or I'm working on interviews, and I'm editing I'm editing something. I'm developing a new talk. I'm developing an event, keeping up on my correspondence. So yeah, you just got to keep busy, and that's the big thing is that people seem to surrender. And I'll tell you the truth. When I started my old job, my I should say my not my old job, my reality job, my mundane job, people that retired died within 3 years. Half of the people that retired were dead in 3 years to 6 years. I said, I'm not going to be like that. I will never be like that. And that's why I keep myself moving. And on top of it, I'm doing stuff that I really, really love and I have a passion for. Why slow down? Keep moving, baby.
Yeah.
Keep moving.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to write this down. The photographer on this list now. I'm going to add it to it. Yeah, because I mean, that is so cool. The Gothic photography.
Love it.
That is really
And you
cool.
know what I love about it is that I grew up in an era of just past the era of the black and whites, the Frankenstein and Dracula. I used to watch them like at the 11:30 movies they would have on Friday nights. I've always been so interested in it. And when I'll tell you, when I got my very first paycheck, the very first paycheck, we're going back into the 70s now. I bought a camera. I bought a 35 millimeter camera. I loved photography for years. And then of course, I mean, when things, once I started, really working and getting out there, I kind of put it off to the side. And I came back to it because of the fact that I have an actual portable video interview studio, backdrops, lights, the whole thing. And I use these DSLRs for a lot of my work. I had them. They've been sitting there. They're collecting dust. I picked up a Sony mirrorless camera at an estate sale for $10. $10. I've been using that ever since. And once I developed my eye, my composition, it was like a door opened. And a friend of mine is an artist. Judy Harkey is a phenomenal artist, and she's a great medium. And she looked at me one day and she says, "My best days are when I work with art." And I looked at her, I said, "How true that is. How true that is." And that's why I added that to my repertoire on top of everything else I'm doing. But I make time to do it. And a lot of people, what happens is they get overwhelmed with life. I'm one of those people that truly believe that you have to take care of the caretaker in order to go and take care of other people and really enjoy your life to the fullest.
So what you're saying is self-care first.
Self-care. And a lot of people will think that that's a little bit heady, that's a little bit self-indulgent, but I found I took care of my mom until she passed away, and took care of my helped take care of my in-laws till they passed away, and uh saw all these people that dedicated so much time without dedicating anything to themselves. And it's just not physical, it's mental and spiritual. And I always said I'm going to take time to make sure that I don't get that burnout. And I never got the burnout in anything that I did, even though I was working two jobs, even though I was volunteering here and there. I've taken care of this one and that one. I never got that burnout because I always took time to go and everybody fractionates their day, and I go and I fractionate my day and make sure that I give myself X amount of time to just be mindful, or X amount of time to, even if it's 15 minutes, to sit down on my laptop, write something. It doesn't have to mean anything, just write something, or take the time to go out there and do the research and look for something new and exciting. But I always did that and never had a problem with it. So I'll knock on some wood here and say, it's all how you look at life.
Perception, I always say, is everything, and like your goals, and that's what it's about. And let's talk about, you were raised, you said like Roman Catholic and
Yes.
spiritualist. How was that kind of intertwined? And I
Well,
find it interesting how both of those, and I actually converted to Catholicism. How did that work out?
I went to school in grammar school at a time when we would go to church 5 days a week before class, sit with the class on Sundays. If there's a holy day of obligation on Saturday, you went 7 days a week. And if you had novenas, you went 3 nights. It didn't bother me. I was into it. I understood it. But right around 1972, we went down to the Lillydale Spirituals Assembly, which is
Yes.
about an hour from my house. I got a chance to meet relatives that were mediums and were spiritualists.
Yeah.
And it was great because during the school year, I towed the line. You know, I'm not Polish, but I can still speak a little Polish. Ja będzie pochwalony Jezus Chrystus. I mean, that's something that you never lose. You know, you learn in grammar school, especially a Polish grammar school. But during the summer, we would go visit relatives down there. And I mean, I spent a lot of weekends there, and it was amazing. I was exposed to so much. And actually, they sent us to Lyceum, my cousins and all that. We went to Lyceum because we would cause too much trouble as kids. You know, we'd be riding our bikes into tourists and running around and playing football in the street while they're trying to do a healing service at the healing temple. That was really cool. That really was great, and it's still balanced. And a lot of people don't realize the balance of the two. I attended a lecture about a decade ago when the past president of the National Spiritual Association of Churches married a former Jesuit theologian, and he was still teaching theology at Georgetown University at the time. And it was a comparison between Catholicism and spiritualism. And I have to say, you know, Misty, if I had been taught Catholicism the way I was taught spiritualism, there's a good chance I probably would never have switched because of the fact that the mysteries of Catholicism are almost the same as the mysteries of spiritualism. Of course, I mean, if we start looking at divinities, the divinity of Christ, spiritualists believe that he was an ascended master. They're not huge on Christ being a god, a divine, you know, divinity,
Hmm.
but they still respect him just as they respect Muhammad or Buddha. And I have to, and you know, and I've actually been blessed because in my, I won't say career because I don't really consider what I do as a career. In my time of doing all this, I got a chance to hang out with really some interesting people, especially exorcists. I feel that exorcists are probably, I've learned the most out of Catholic exorcists. One with the Western Rite Catholic Church that split from the Roman Catholic Church in 1863. And we used to sit there and argue. And I used to like, oh, I don't understand this and I don't understand that. And he goes, well, what about this? What about that? Finally, I realized the two religions have more in common than they like magnetic polar opposites. The names are different, the actions are the same. And that's how I really started to, even years ago, even when I was a kid, I started to look at it like this because I didn't think that it was so different. And I mean, of course, with the spiritualist religion, I mean, it was great because at one time I went and I wrote, I always tell this story. I wrote an essay of what we did on our summer vacation in
Oh,
eighth
wow.
grade. I always remember this. And I talked about, oh, I got a message from my great great grandfather, and I went to a healing service and a meditation service, and I did this and that. And, you know, I got a letter, Mr. and Mrs. Shaw, we need to talk. And you know, and basically what it was they got in there, and my father, now you got to understand, now they sent me to a Roman Catholic school, but neither one of them were practicing Catholics. As a matter of fact, my father wasn't a Catholic at all, and he kind of sat the sister down and said, you know, that you're talking about the religion of my family. My family, this religion goes back in my family to the 1880s. Don't come down on him. Don't come down on Tim. And she looked at him and said, well, tell Tim not to be talking about it in
Right.
school, you know. And you know what? He came back into the car. He came back. He was mad. He said, "Just shut up! Don't talk about this stuff." So you know what? I had to start talking even more about it the next day. It was great. It was great. Plus, on top of it, you got to understand the time period. 70, like the late 70s, mid to late 70s. You're going into the whole satanic panic thing, but they had all these great shows on TV, and we were going in, you know, the new age was blossoming, and they started having psychic fairs. So there was a lot of excitement out there. And I just got swept away right with it. Poor old Sister Sidonia. I think I gave her a few more gray hairs by the
Yeah.
time I was done in that class. But really, Roman Catholicism and spiritualism are not that far apart. And the one thing that I always teach people, because some people get really radical, they get very upset over they'll leave Catholicism and they have a chip on their shoulder. And I always say, never throw the baby out with the bathwater because all religions are man-made. You got to understand that all religions are man-made. They try to go and hold the whole idea of philosophy of spiritual endeavor, whatever it happens to be. there's always something good in all religions. You have to look for it sometimes, but there's always something good. Even I know people that are Satanists,
Hmm.
and when you go and you start studying that, you kind of understand it a little bit better. And all of a sudden, it's no longer what in the fire and brimstone. All of a sudden, now it's a way of life, and you start understanding their philosophy. It becomes an amazing trip. It becomes this amazing adventure. And I always tell people, religions are created by man. Your spirituality is a covenant between you and your deity and your God, and everything else kind of just falls into place along the way.
Now let's talk about some of your TV experiences. Paranormal Lockdown, Ghost Lab, which was,
Yep.
I remember Ghost Lab, and then it was, I think, Paranormal State were like two of the shows that kind of kicked everything off, and then Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures. And
Yep.
I remember one of the episodes that you were in on Paranormal Lockdown, and it was the Enchanted Church one.
That was the Enchanted
It
Church
was
was Portals
Portals,
to Hell
Portals to Hell. I'm sorry,
with
Portals
yeah
to
with
Hell.
Jack Osborne and my friend Katrina Weidman.
I was raised really strict in church. I wasn't raised
Hmm.
Catholic, but
Hmm.
I know that whenever I would go into the church, like to practice to sing or whatever it was, and if I was one of the first ones there, and it was always creepy to me, like a empty church. I don't know why, like it would be dark.
Oh my God, I love. You know what? Again, this
Hmm.
goes to my love of all things Gothic.
Hmm.
There's nothing better for me than to walk into a church, the feel, the vibe. You see and most of them have the vaulted ceilings,
Hmm.
and you go and you see you see the effigies of the deities of the saints, because spiritualism is not a big saint religion. I believe in saints. I do. I believe in that because to me they're like guardian angels.
Sure.
I love all that. I love the altar. I love seeing that. And to me that's beauty.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's absolutely beauty. So I've been to a couple places, like a couple churches that have been a little scary,
Yeah.
but that one, the Enchanted Church, was
It was beautiful.
it's an amazing
Yeah,
place.
it
It's
was
an
really great.
I fell in love with them, the people that own it. I fell in love with the building itself. It's absolutely the history of the building. Is amazing. Uh, the And of course, I mean, you have Rose the skeleton there. That's that's laying there in a coffin
Right, right.
in their living room. I mean,
Can't get
to
better than
me,
that. Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go quite that far, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and they have such a reverence for the spirituality of like all these photographs and religious icons and all these small little shrines. When I was there, the basement was full of small shrines. I thought it was amazing. It was just an amazing place.
Like some of the spirits, would they go to a church because they would feel comforted there? Or
Comfortable,
it's
yeah.
or maybe they had some kind of contact, like maybe they went there or something. So that
All
would
of the
be,
above.
yeah. But I did learn something, and I did not know this, because you collect haunted objects. And I did not know that if you bury a silver cross upside down, that it will help. Is that true?
You got to be careful with that.
Yeah. Well, I was
But
wondering why. I was going to ask
and the
you.
reason
Yeah.
there's a reason for it,
Mhm.
because of the fact that of what it represents, what people put into it. When we look at something that's sacred,
Mhm.
and a crucifix or a cross is very sacred. When we look at it, we put in our intent, our love into that object. I believe that everything is vibratory in nature. Everything, and I kind of follow the Native American vein of everything is alive, and everything that you have will go and create a reaction to an action.
Mhm.
As a dowser, that's what we always look for. We look for the action of us holding, let's say, L rods. The movement is called a reaction. So by us looking for something or whatever we're doing, we're looking for a reaction, and that's the same thing that we do work with when you do stuff like that. Now, here's another one. Here's another one. This is an old folklore, and it worked. I'll tell you, it worked. You take a small statue of Joseph's father, the Saint Joseph,
Mhm.
put him in a plastic bag, and bury him head down, upside down, outside of the door or the path that's going to be used for a house that's being sold. And when you do that, the belief is that Saint Joseph will go and work harder for you so he can come up to the surface to be venerated. I'm gonna tell you what, it works. And my friend, witch doctor with two from Canada, he says, just put some money in there. Just put some money in there because it'll sweeten the deal in a little plastic bag with the statue, and people will walk by and say, "This is a great deal for this house." And Saint Joseph will help you, you know, help you sell the house. I sold my mother's house in probably 2 days, 3 days, and we had put $77. I didn't know at the time. My wife put $77 in the plastic, little plastic baggie, and we sold it for $77,000.
What?
So I mean, this is an old folk tale.
Hmm.
It's a combination of Catholicism and voodoo, and voodoo, of course, we know is underlies a lot of the the more Catholic or Christian outward iconology. So yeah, it worked.
Well, I am definitely going to tell a couple of my realtor friends about it to see, get it
Up
going. And
here, I
yeah,
live in
yeah.
West. I live up here in Western New York,
Hmm.
and I got to tell you what, I don't know how many realtors that I've talked to that they do this. They tell they tell their clients, this is what you do. You go down to we have a store here called the Catholic store.
Hmm.
They're blessed by a priest, and to do that, they all believe in doing it.
Speaking of haunted objects, I mean, you were on the haunting on Adams Street. It was one of Steve Shippey's
Oh,
haunt.
I love Steve. Steve is
Yes.
probably one of I have so much respect for him and Jamie, the work that they do.
Hmm.
It's crazy. It's just amazing what they do.
I always enjoy his work very much, and you can tell he is so sincere.
He
And
is.
tell me about a couple of your most favorite haunted objects.
Well, first of all, I do collect Victorian mourning objects,
Okay.
and I have a lot of human hair, jewelry. I have this beautiful, absolutely beautiful frame, and it's all flower. It looks like all really delicate flower arrangements. It's in a nice oval frame. It's pretty deep, and it's all human hair. And when you look in there, there's little tags with people's names on it.
What?
So it tells everybody who's in there. But actual haunted objects, I have a small bear, a primitive, what they call them primitive bear. It's just an outline of a bear doll, and it's got two little button eyes.
Mhm.
And that's one of my favorite ones. It kind of freaks a lot of people out. I know, yeah, I got it from an exorcist. I guess phenomena started to come in to these people's homes when they brought this bear. I guess it was bought at an estate sale, and they had a young child, and I guess I'm not sure if the young child was talking to the bear, and I think, but there was something to do with like voices. So I don't know if the bear was answering the child or not.
Right.
And I have a really nice piece that was given to me. It looks like it's a doll, a woman in a prairie dress, and a friend of mine had the hair tested. I gave him a hair follow, or I gave him a hair, and he uh, uh, he looked at it and he announced that it was human hair. It's blonde, but the face and the hands are made out of like a tar, and the face is actually reptilian. And I wasn't quite sure what this was. And my friend Utu said, "Well, actually, that should have stayed in the family." And I said, "Why?" Because that was created by a mother, given to a daughter, and that was an effigy that protected the daughter from abuse from the husband.
Oh wow.
So I love that piece. I think it's just so beautiful. And that's something that's a common thread with with what I collect and what I am just like. I'll be honest with you. It's like I don't believe I own these pieces. I believe that they come to me, and I'm sort of like an orphanage. So they're here
Right.
for a while,
Hmm.
until I pass, and then they're gonna move on to somebody else. I have a
Oliver
small doll.
was
I
with a
have this little
collector for
tiny
years, and
ceramic
Oliver
doll.
would move
I
from
call him
shelf to
Oliver.
shelf. Oh.
When it was sent to me, they said, this is just too much. We've had enough. So I have Oliver, and one day I had him on, like I have these glass cases, and he was sitting in one of the one on the top shelf, and then like one day I go and I look, and he's on the shelf underneath. So
Wow.
I started laughing. So I have him in a little dome now, a
Yeah.
little dome, so that he hasn't moved since then.
Would you open up a little museum, or have you, or
Oh
to
my
kind of?
God, my friends, I took all of this stuff out once to a shop for a display. And I don't know if I would, I don't think I'd move it again. There's just so much to here. I have so much in,
Wow.
down in this area in my basement, the entire basement is my office. All my friends keep saying that all they're going to do is they're going to announce that they're going to go and come to the house, and they're going to sit at the top of the stairs and charge $5 for people to come down into my basement.
It'd probably be
Because
right.
I oh my God, I'm always trying to go and I have, little tags I'm trying to put on everything. I'm still trying to catch up because a lot of stuff came in over the summer
Mhm.
that I haven't had a chance to tag or make a little sign for. I do collect a lot of just small pieces from haunted buildings and haunted locations, places that have been torn down, places that are really in really bad shape, and they that, or they got burnt.
Right.
I mean, I love being able to collect those little things. I have one of my favorite pieces is I have some roofing tiles from Boleskine House in Loch Ness, Scotland, and
Oh.
that was the location where Aleister Crowley, the Black Magician,
Mhm.
did many rituals. But also, of course, if you're a rock and roller, Jimmy Page bought that house, but it burned. And I actually, the reason I got those pieces is the fact that they were raising money to rebuild it, which they are doing, and they've done a fantastic job. But I have three small pieces of Boleskine House now in my collection.
Is there anywhere that you would like to go that you haven't been yet?
I'm going to be honest with you. I've been fortunate because I have gone to so many places, so many locations. If we weren't filming, I was working behind the camera. If we weren't, a lot of times I'd go out. My wife and I would go on vacation, and we'd take an extra day to stop at a location.
Mhm.
In all honesty, no. I can't think of actually a place that I really want to go. Of course, I'm going to be honest with you. I'll be 100% honest with you. Uh, I am a guy that loves to stay in the United States, and I love going anywhere in the United States. I'm not an international traveler by any means.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I have MJ Dixon is a great friend of mine. She's a great author.
Oh yeah.
I love her. We're doing a thing next year at Belgrove Plantation that she invited me down to speak at,
Nice.
and I love her so much, and she's just so interesting. She's like, "Why don't you ever come to England? Why don't you?" And I said, "No, if I did go, the only place I would end up going is Arthur Findlay College,
Mhm.
the spiritualist college over there,
Right.
and probably take some classes. But otherwise, no, I have no desire. I love being there's so much here in the United States for me to explore that I'll never be able to see everything that I may stumble upon. And stumble is the best word now, Misty, because of the fact that this kid here stumbles upon haunted locations and unusual things left and right. So sometimes I don't plan on things, and they just kind of work out that way.
You like a magnet?
See, sometimes,
Yeah.
yes, I
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
say sometimes, yes.
Is there any advice or any words of wisdom that you would give, like, um, maybe to some, that are just starting out into the field, or, you know, beginning their journey, such as myself, or, do you have anything that you could, like a little tidbit or something that you would like to share?
Number one, don't buy into all the hype. TV and being a guy that was blessed to be on TV,
Hmm.
I understand that it's for entertainment.
Right.
So understand that it's great entertainment, give you some good basics, but don't be basing your whole life on it, your whole career or getting into the field. Number two, don't spend a lot of money on gear. You can go on, secondhand places like eBay and that, and you can buy older gear. I have my newest recorder is over 25 years old, my newest audio recorder. And the reason for that is the fact that They didn't have the filters, and I buy them for $14 or $20, and when they stop working, I throw them out and I buy a new one to replace it, and they work unbelievably. We use this a Sony. The most, it's kind of expensive though. I will say now they are. I used to be able to buy them for $35. Now they're about $200.
Wow.
The Sony ST25. It is an amazing device. I believe in it. I have gotten some unbelievable stuff with it. And number three, just enjoy what you're doing. Do your research, but enjoy what you're doing, and just take it one step at a time. Just one step at a time. And you get a chance to take a class with somebody, take a class. Your mentorship is important.
And I really admire those that have been in the field for a while that actually give back and encourage, people to, to be in the field and to do it the right way. I have learned so much just talking to you in this short time, and I hope that you will join us again on a future
Anytime.
date. So thank you so much, everybody. Tim Shaw. I appreciate you, Tim, being here. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you again. And everybody out there, have a great evening. Have a fantastic, okay, if you're within the Christian faith, have a great harvest. If you're in sort of the fun stuff like I am, have a great Halloween. If you're into some of the old religions, have a great Samhain.
Thank you so much. And you have a good night, too.
Take care, guys.
All right. Bye.